video, I'll be talking about Power BI Workspace. Now, what is a Power BI Workspace? Basically, Power BI Workspace are a place to collaborate with colleagues while building dashboard, reports, model, etc. within the Power BI interface. Now, Power BI Workspace is not available in the Power BI desktop application, so it is a part of Power BI service. Power BI workspaces basically host a lot of artifacts built in Power BI. So it can be a dashboard, it can be reports, it can be your semantic model, and there are many other things. Workspace, in order to access Power BI Workspace, you need to be having some of the roles listed over here. Like it should be either one of them. So a viewer, a contributor, a member, and an admin. So as the name indicates, admin is like the global person who can do anything on the workspace. Contributor contributes contents, viewer can just view the content, and member can edit the content, and at the same time they can add other users into the workspace as well. Now, from a workspace perspective, what all things workspace can contain. Now, these are some of the items which I have just listed. Like it contains dashboard, it contains reports, semantic models, paginated reports, Scorecard, Dataset, Dataflow, streaming dataset, plus many more things. Now, the list is it's limited though, but then there are like other things which you can house within the workspace. Now, basically, why would you like to share the workspace? Because you want someone else to view the content what you have built. Either it can be an end product like reports or a dashboard or a paginated reports, or maybe it can be a semantic model whereby you might be thinking like, okay, I have sourced some data from the backend data source, like let's share it with different users. Now you can also share semantic model across the workspace. Now there are different types of workspace available. One you get uh, available out of the box, which is called as my workspace, so that's your personal workspace. Then there are workspace which you can share across between various teams, which is just named as workspace. Then there is an admin workspace whereby you will be able to see various uh, statistics related to your tenant. So I'm going to cover that in a separate video. But the workspace, basically the workspace can also be assigned to a domain. So domain is again a different concept within Power BI service. I'm going to cover that in a separate video. Just think of it as like a separate folder, which basically allows you to uh, of categorize. Basically, say if you have a domain of sales, and you can include say sales workspace, or sales and marketing workspace, or something related to sales domain in one particular bucket. Now you can reassign a workspace, you can export workspace to a CSV file. Semantic models can be shared between workspace. So if you have a workspace and if you have a semantic model attached to a workspace, you can create another workspace and you can query that semantic model. Now, template apps can be created in Workspace. That's again a separate topic to be discussed, where you want to publish an app to uh, a different set of audience, not related to your organization, and you just want to templatize your applications. Now, workspace contacts basically will get notifications about issues affecting the workspace. So, some notification if something is happening within the workspace, then the workspace contacts will get those notification. Power BI doesn't create a Microsoft 365 group behind the scenes. So when you provision a workspace, so when you create a workspace within Power BI service, it will not create a Microsoft 365 group behind. So that's one thing to keep in mind. You can configure a Microsoft 365 group whose SharePoint Document Library file storage is available for workspace users. So there is a way through which you can say specify that I want to reference Microsoft 365 group within a part of Power BI workspace. Workspace settings. If you are an admin, you can navigate to the Power BI admin center, and you can uh, check this box if you want a workspace to be created by users within your organization. Now, these users can be the entire organization users, or belonging to a specific security group, or you can put that negative mark, like say except specific security group, you allow everyone to be allowing them to create the workspace. Some workspace settings, like on the left hand side as you see over here, these are the list of workspace which I have created. Click new workspace to create a new workspace, and against a specific workspace you have various settings available, which I'm going to cover that in more detail. So there are something which you can configure, like uploading an image, putting a name, putting a description, attaching it to a domain, configuring the workspace identity, network security, etc. Managing access, so you can add people or a group, and different set of roles which you can assign is like an admin, a member, a contributor, and a viewer. Admin portal workspace, so if you are an Power BI admin, then you can navigate to the admin portal, and then from there, if you access the workspace settings, you can basically do a lot of things. So you can reassign the workspace, you can export the workspace, you can view details about the workspace, and you can also see uh, the workspace belongs to the which capacity SKU tier, and what is the capacity name for that, and whether that workspace is active or not. Reassigning workspace. So reassigning workspace is basically selecting an available capacity for the workspace. So you can assign a pro license mode, you can assign a premium per user, and then there are other options like capacities like premium, fabric, and embedded. Now, again, all those things I'm going to cover in a separate video. In general, you have an option to remove this workspace. So this option will permanently delete the workspace after a retention period of 7 days, as defined by your Fabric administrator. So Fabric administrator controls that removal process. So So first, I want to show you a Power BI desktop. So in Power BI desktop, there is no concept of workspace. So if you go into the Power BI service, here in Power BI service on the left hand side, you will see workspaces. Okay, so if you navigate to home, here you can see the listing of all the workspaces which are available, which have been used recently, and then you can even favorite some of the items. Now, if I go into workspaces, I have a lot of workspaces created over here. So, a couple of things to make a note. So, first thing is like my workspace. This is always available for you. This is your personal space. If you want to do anything, like testing or anything, you want to keep it in your personal workspace, you can go ahead and use this workspace. Then there is an admin monitoring workspace, which is like kind of a special workspace which is available mostly for an admin, but then that workspace can be shared across. And also it will give you information about the tenant usage, the tenant stats, all those kind of thing. I'm going to cover that in a separate video. But remember, this admin monitoring is a separate workspace, which may not be provisioned within your tenant when you start, but then once an admin starts clicking on the admin monitoring link, then a workspace will get provisioned, and you will be able to see various statistics related to your tenant on how the workspace is being used, what are the content within the workspace, and those sort of things. Then here you will see all the workspaces which you have created. Now I've created a lot of dummy workspaces. Now these workspaces are listed over here, some with an icon, some with not, and there are some indicators, like as you see over here, it says this workspace is part of a tax domain. This workspace is part of an onboarding domain. So you can attach a workspace to a specific domain. So I have created a lot of workspace which is connected to different domain, and you can see some diamond icon over here. It says Power BI Premium per user content. So here USA workspace is Power BI Premium per user content. So like this, you will come to know just by looking into the icon that what is the significance of that workspace, what are the features set available, and how I can use that. You have an option to pin this workspace to the top, so I can pin this workspace to the top. So moment I click on it, it says pinned. If I click Kit and then pin to top, Girish onboarding. So these all workspaces are pinned, and I can even navigate to the workspace setting and workspace access. So what does a workspace contain? So if I navigate, if I click on this particular workspace, then I'll be able to see the content within the workspace. So first thing, it is a premium per user content. Workspace is part of some domain. I can see the app settings. I can feature this app on home, unpublish the app. I can upload OneDrive, SharePoint, browse through my file directory to upload a PBX or RDL file, or I can create various artifacts. I can create a folder. I can create report, paginated report, scorecard, dashboard, semantic model, data flow, data mart, streaming data set, streaming data flow. And if you click on more options, you get a whole bunch of other things as well related to Fabric. So this is what you can do from a workspace perspective. Now, if again, if you want to go back to your workspace, you can navigate to a specific workspace or a general list over here. If I go into a specific workspace, again, I'll be landing in that same page. Now, there are other things which you can do. You can connect this to a source control. You can update the app, you can manage access, and you can do something on the workspace settings. So let's click on workspace settings to know more about the workspace. So this is a workspace which I have created. Now I have an option to upload a workspace image. I name the workspace, put some description around it, and I can even specify the domain. Now, this might not be visible in your section because if you have not created domain, this option won't be there. But I have already created domains like finance, HR, IT, sales, etc. You can attach one domain to a workspace, and from a workspace contact perspective you can add uh, various workspace contacts, right? So I'm going to cover this workspace setting in a separate video altogether, but then these are the bare minimum options which you can do. So you can delete a workspace, you can remove this workspace, and once that workspace is removed after a retention period of 7 days, this workspace will be permanently gone. How to create a workspace? You click on workspace over here and click on new workspace, the new workspace button. Okay. If you click on new workspace, here you will be able to specify what workspace do you want this to be created for. So I'll say this is related to say business central. So I'll just say business central workspace and say this workspace will contain reports related to Dynamics 365 Business Central app. So I put some description around it, and from a domain perspective, I can directly attach it to a finance or HR or IT or sales domain, or if I do not have anything, I'll just say none. Workspace image, I can upload a workspace image. So I have a lot of images created over here, so I'll pick up one, and this is the workspace image I have uploaded now. Advance in contact list basically gets notification about the workspace, so you can put the person's name. So I put Girish, I can put Alex, I can put any other list of users who would be notified in case of any changes happens within the workspace. License mode, I can specify what kind of license mode this workspace is attached to. So it can be pro, it can be premium per user, and depending on the capacity configured within your organization, you will have other options lighted up as well. Template apps is a video, it's a separate topic. I'll create a video about that. So template apps are basically used for uh, sharing outside your organization. So the workspace which you create is internal for your users. Now, if you want to share the apps which are outside your organization, a template app workspace will be created for developing and releasing the app. Okay, so I'm not going to take that. I'll click on apply, and then the workspace will get provisioned in the backend. So this is already been created now. I can go ahead, I can create a new folder here if I want. So I'll create a new folder and call it as BC sales. I will click on create, I'll click on new folder, and also BC purchase. And I can add various other things. So I can even create a report, a scorecard, dashboard, paginated report, etc. I can navigate within the workspace, and then I can create a scorecard or a dashboard or any other things. And there are other options like I can select a pre-designed task flow, I can add a task, and whole bunch of things which we can do within the workspace. Now, if you go into the workspace setting over here, you can also search your workspace. So if I just type in USA, it will show me the workspace which has USA text in it. Now, if I click on this filter icon here, you will see I can select a filter, and then it will only show me the workspace which is belonging to that specific domain. So under HR, we have safety subdomain. So if I click on safety, I'll be only able to see one subdomain. one workspace belonging to that subdomain. So if I select multiple subdomain, I can see more workspace lists. So there's a way of filtering out those information. So if I clear all, I'll be able to see everything, right? So as I'm an admin, I'm able to see all this information. Now, as an admin, if you click on settings, you can navigate to admin portal, and within admin portal there are a lot of other settings, but then I'm pretty much interested in workspaces. So what all things we can do from a workspace perspective. Here we can view personal and group workspaces that exist within your organization. Okay, so if you see from a type perspective, there are various types. Now there is a type called as personal group, there is a type called as a workspace, and then there is a type called as an admin workspace. Now admin workspace is basically, it will is a special workspace. You cannot do much thing on that admin workspace. It is just provision for you to view various tenants metrics statistics available across the tenant. So it's a nice way to see the health of your tenant, how people are being utilizing various artifacts within Power BI. So you will be able to monitor those. This is admin monitoring. Then we have something called as workspace. So workspace is the one which we have just now created, right? So this workspace basically can house various domain specific artifacts like dashboard, tables, report, paginated report, etc. And then there is something called as a personal group. Now personal group means against a user, so it is always related to user. Now this personal group belongs to Alex, this personal group belongs to Girish. Similarly, if I have any other user, I'll have one personal group for that specific user. So remember that this is like kind of uh, like a personalized workspace for individual users. So every user get that personal workspace for themselves. Now think about it, like you have so many users and they have created their own personal workspaces, and they are using that. But suddenly, say Alex uh, retires from an organization, or if Alex leaves from an organization, then if you want to retrieve the data, what you can do as an admin, you can select this item and then you can get an access. Okay, so if you see get access details, you will be able to successfully obtain access to personal workspace. So you can gain those access as an admin. Also you can do a reassignment of workspace. So you take for example, if this is a test workspace, and if I click on reassign workspace, so you can reassign an available capacity for the workspace. So if this workspace is pro based, I want to make it premium per user, I'll click on save, and it says after you reassign a workspace to a different region, you may not be able to create fabric items right away. Additionally, some workspace settings you have applied, including any Spark settings, may not be retained. So just a bit of warning, and once that is done, you have technically reassigned that workspace from one domain to another. So that's premium per user reserved. So like this, you can make those operations. You can even edit the workspace. So if I click on test workspace edit, I can change the name, I can change the description of the workspace. And we have seen details, we have seen access, edit. So if I click on details, you'll be able to see how many reports exist within that dashboard, how many dashboards, how many reports, and what are the data sets that are available as a part of that particular workspace. So I have a couple of workspaces over here. So let me show you one workspace. So let me go into say one of the workspace, say Girish Dev workspace. Now, if I go into Girish Dev workspace, if I go into detail, I have a lot of dashboards, reports, and data sets created. So here you will be able to see all the artifacts which are part of that particular workspace. And state, as you see over here, you have a state of active. Right now on the top here you will see all the same options which you have seen: reassign workspace, access, edit, details. But there is an option to export. So if I click on export, a CSV file will get exported. Now if I click on workspaces.csv, here I will be able to see the complete list along with the ID and the name of the workspace, the description, the state, the capacity name, the capacity SKU. So basically, what that export process is, it will give you a complete list of what all workspaces you have within the system. So that is not related to item; it is just like a generic button which will give you the dump of entire workspace along with its detail. So it's a nice tool to basically see how many workspaces you have. Now, I don't see a complete list over here, but then here it's items per page. So if I make it 100, then I'll be able to see the entire list listed over here. So that's it, folks. This is all about workspaces. In short, I'm going to cover workspaces settings. I'm going to cover administration, workspace, etc., in a separate video. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.